Welcome back to the Two Guys Named Chris show. Our official attorney is Lisa Lanier. She joins us every week at this time for a segment we call Lawyer Up, where she gets into at least 3 and usually more legal cases. I'll tell you what, the docket is chock full of items today. I'm just tipping her off to some. And she joins us now to comment on them. Hello, Lisa. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. I hope you guys are.
Doing very well, and great to talk to you as always. Let's go to that story we just covered a moment ago. It's from Ohio, Willoughby, Ohio, where a homeowner near a middle school has put up a Halloween decoration, and at last report, it was still up, that had skeletons in sexually revealing positions. One taking the other from behind. Yeah. One with head in lap. All of these different things, you know. When we saw the news, they blurred out the spots where the genitalia would be. Of course, there are no genitalia there. These are skeletons. So the sheriff said, listen, we called the homeowner and asked him. We said this was a poor choice. He never got back to us, and so far they're still there, and it's a gray area of the law. Meanwhile, one of the residents said, this is not funny.
It's a serious thing. There's a lot of kids in this neighborhood. It's a very heavy neighborhood for families, so I mean, it is something that you've got a school, you've got tons of churches around here. Obviously, it's not something that they want in the neighborhood. Maybe it was just a goof. Maybe it was something they were doing to try to be funny and didn't really think it through.
The sexually explicit skeletons, Lisa, is any law being broken here?
No, there's no law being broken. And it's really funny to hear people like that guy. You know, you can have, bad taste or be shocking or whatever, and your neighbors can't just make you take it down because they don't like it. You know, I mean, there's no, and what the officer means by that it is in a gray area, it really just means that it doesn't fall into any violation of any law. It's not pornography. It's not public nudity. And even, neighbors don't like it, but that's what Merck is all about, right? But until it offends you.
Right. That's exactly right. So there's nothing that can be done about this, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing really going on. It's just
it appears to be, as Chris Kelly said, there's one what appears to be a skeleton behind another, and there's also a display involving what appears to be a threesome. I mean, if they had flesh,
right,
it would be a fleshy threesome.
Be a fleshy threesome. It is not. Let's not judge it.
And one is a Rogerine from. I guess it's a Jolly Rogerine from behind.
I guess it is.
The chap in the back is wearing a bandana.
He's not completely naked.
That's right.
This is giving me ideas for my Halloween party.
Yeah, that's right.
Lisa, think of the children.
Oh my God, Lisa, you heard what that man said. This is not funny. This is in poor taste.
I understand his comment about the school being close by. That would be the one concern. But there's churches around. Who cares?
They don't.
That shouldn't matter.
Well, kids
maybe.
Kids,
churches,
that kind of thing. By the way, this is gray area too. The Powerball lottery has gotten up to over $1 billion. I don't know if you're buying tickets, Lisa. The next drawing is tomorrow night for this Powerball. It's $1.5 billion. Well, let me tell you what happened to me this week. My friend Curtis, who I played pickleball with, the drawing was at about $1 billion earlier this week, and he texted me and said, hey, you want to go in together on these Powerball tickets? And I said, yeah, man, fine. And my wife had already bought 12. And I said, my wife bought 12. He goes, okay, I'll buy 12, and we'll split if we win. I said, perfect.
Did he then send you images of his tickets?
Later in the afternoon, I'd forgotten all about it. Later in the afternoon, he sent me a picture of all his tickets laid out. He said, that's my proof that I have these tickets. Here are my numbers. You send me pictures of yours, and we're good to go. So I turned to my wife, who was sitting on her chaise, and I said, hey, we're splitting this lottery with Curtis, who she's never heard of, by the way. I said, hey, we're splitting this lottery with Curtis. He sent me his 12 tickets. How about sending me images of ours to give to him? And she goes, oh, hell no, we're not. Over my dead body, are we splitting any money with someone called Curtis that I don't know? So I had to go back to Curtis and say, hey, man, my wife's out. You're on your own, and we're not.
She says no way.
She says no way. We're not doing this. Then he wanted to cut in Adolfo on a little threesome.
Yeah.
I said, no, we're not doing that either. So my question is, is that considered a contract? Because it's not just verbal. It was in writing on text form. He said, you want to split? I said, yes. He sent me his tickets. Then I said, my wife says no. If we had hit for $1 billion, if I had, do I owe him half that money?
I think in that situation, you could get out of it because you clearly said no. You clearly said no. My wife actually bought the tickets, and she's not up for this. So I think you could get out in that situation. Take the wife out of the picture, and if you just you and your friend just entered into this agreement.
Right.
Then you've got, he was being smart because he has an oral agreement, but he's getting photographic evidence and text evidence, and so that's what you need. Because in an oral agreement, it's just a he said, she said, or he said situation. How do you prove it? Well, this guy's trying to nail it down, man. He's smart.
He did.
He
did. He's smart. He did. He wanted that. And but by my saying, okay, I'm out, that's pulling out of the agreement in time.
Did he send you a chicken emoji?
He's done a lot of that.
Or a weasel?
Yeah, well, see, what Lisa doesn't know is kind of the backstory. He's more of a bully
He's
than a friend.
He's ribbing me. He beats me at everything we ever
He's a
play.
browbeater is
He's a
what he is.
browbeater. He beats me at every game we ever played. And
He's a pickle expert, too, Lisa.
he's schooled me on the pickleball court many times. And yes, he sent me the many times. And I was like, Curtis, I can't man my wife.
Weasel.
He's like, he said, who wears the pants in that family? I said, well, you know the answer to that. Come on now.
Yeah, right.
Come on. A couple of other interesting questions. Here's a question we had, just sort of anecdotal. Earlier this week, the guy who was been arrested now for assaulting Paul Pelosi went into his house, broke into the house, stood over the bed. Paul Pelosi opens his eyes. He says, where's your wife? Eventually hits him with a hammer. Paul Pelosi gets to the bathroom, calls 911. They save his life, luckily, but he's certainly, obviously assaulted him. Now, why does somebody, just in general, this guy's been arrested. We know he did it, but he pleads not guilty. What's the strategy of pleading not guilty? Would it be easier just to plead guilty and take maybe a lesser sentence than pleading not guilty and going through this, Lisa? What is the strategy there?
So criminal defendants almost always plead not guilty at this initial stage, at this arraignment, because he's just been assigned a public defender. The public defender attorney has no idea really, what the facts are except for what's been shown on the media, which is not always true. And they have to dig in and get acquainted with the case, dig into the facts and the evidence, and then that gives them time to negotiate a plea agreement. Because if you just come in and plead guilty, it's over and you're going to get sentenced to the max. And there's no opportunity to negotiate. So you have to plead not guilty at first, and then let your attorney negotiate something, and you can change that plea. And I wondered if his attorney is getting some psych evals and thinking about, because California has an insanity defense. And maybe thinking about that as well.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that would be. All right, so that's it.
You didn't hear it from me, Your Honor, but he might be crazy.
You think?
Yeah.
I think he is. I think he's crazy.
Does it matter that he supposedly is from Canada?
I didn't know that.
No, he's still subject to, he's here illegally, actually. Doesn't even have his proper documentation.
Oh, no kidding.
Get that wall built.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Well,
It's
up
in the
in
world.
Canada.
No, but
It was in the world in 60
just
seconds.
crazy.
Thank you for listening.
I listened.
Oh, we heard
being
it there.
obviously crazy isn't enough. He has to have not been able to apprehend that his actions were unlawful or wrong.
Okay. We have a great email here from a P1 as well, who said, I could really use Lisa Lanier's opinion on this. I have a small dog who takes a drug called carprofen for anti-inflammatory. It's an anti-inflammatory medication. Costs me $29 each month from the vet. Right now I'm struggling financially. So I went to my doctor for myself, and I said, is there any way you could write me a prescription for that medication, carprofen, for my dog, because I can buy it cheaper from my pharmacy than from my vet. The doctor said, I can't write you a prescription for that. It's canine only, but there's a similar drug called meloxicam, which is for humans. You can give that to your dog. She asked, how much does the dog weigh? I said, she's small, about 25 pounds. The doctor said, that's not really small, gave me a prescription for meloxicam, 7.5 milligrams twice a day. 6 days later, after me giving my dog the dosage recommended, the dog is near death. I rushed to the vet. I was told I was giving her a toxic dose, and she would not need nearly as much of that as I had been giving her. $1,200 later, she's back home, doing okay for now. I've given her several new meds because of what I've done to her. And my question is this. I'm aware that I asked for the prescription, but if my dog dies, I'll never forgive myself because I would have been the reason. Do I have any recourse in trying to recover the vet costs of over $1,200 because my doctor should have said no to my request and not written me a prescription for the dog? I really would appreciate it. My dog's still not out of the woods, and we're struggling financially. Chris, Tim, and Dave are giving a thumbs down to this.
It's a douchey move.
What do you think, Lisa? Do you think she can recover some money from the doctor because the doctor wrote a prescription she shouldn't have?
She can, but I'm with those guys from the philosophical standpoint. It's morally wrong to go after that doctor, I think, because the doctor was trying to help you, and you don't want to add to that no good deed goes unpunished philosophy. You just don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But as a matter of fact, anyone who attempts to practice veterinary medicine without a license in North Carolina is guilty of a Class 1 misdemeanor. So this was a criminal violation as well as potentially opening the doctor up to civil. I think if you want to make sort of the douchey move, as these guys said, and you want to go after the doctor for the $1,200, the doctor will probably pay you and be glad to get you out of his or her hair, but you're going to need to find a new doctor. And,
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
Man, the doctor probably shouldn't have done that. That is...
Agreed. She should ask.
Doctor was trying to help.
Yeah, the doctor's trying to do something there, and didn't work out well. And she says the dog is still not out of the woods. I'm not sure. There may be more vet bills, all of those kinds of things.
Is it because we were lying about our weight? Everybody lies about weight, even their dog's weight.
Maybe the dog... That's true.
Maybe the dog's
That's true.
really 15 pounds. Right?
Maybe she lied about the dog's weight.
Because to me, 25 pounds is not a small dog.
Well, that's what she said. Well, that's what the doctor said. The doctor said that's not
like a
small.
It's a medium dog.
Yeah, my dog is
Yeah,
25.
maybe the owner was confused about the weight or something. But I feel bad for the dog. I feel bad for the dog owner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad situation all the way around. I'm just not sure that it's the right thing to do to, shake down the doctor for it. But you can, and you'd get it, I would think.
Well, and she says she's struggling for money.
Violation.
She's set her wits in and struggling for money, and now she's paid $1,200 she didn't have, is what she said. So she's like,
it's
got it.
lousy all the way around.
Yeah, that's a tough
Part of being a pet owner, unfortunately.
tough situation.
Yeah.
It's true. You take
It
that.
is. I wonder if she could get those. I wonder if the pet owner could get those same meds online. You can order a lot of medicine online a lot cheaper than you can get it at the vet, and sometimes you can get it, like mail order from Mexico without a prescription.
Yeah,
that's true. There are other avenues. I'm a GoodRx guy.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I like GoodRx. That's good. My vet even told me one time, you can buy it from us, but you can probably find it cheaper online. And
sometimes places like the Humane Society will help you. The ASPCA will give you some drugs or money to buy it or something.
You know what I think I would do? I think I'd go to the doctor and appeal to his or her good graces and say, listen,
the people doctor,
and say, you gave me this advice. It cost me $1,200. Can you just give me $1,200? I don't want to take you to court. Can you just give me $1,200?
That's awkward.
No.
It's very awkward.
Find a new doctor.
Gotta find a new doctor.
Very awkward. You're probably right.
Don't do that today, Kelly.
There is a no. I'm having an exam today, Lisa, my physical, and we're hoping to finally put it into this painful rectal itch. Too much?
One line too many.
No, we've been hearing about that for a while, Kelly. I think it's time to get some help.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm also getting my hair cut, and we joked earlier maybe I should have the stylist do my exam and the doctor cut my hair. Wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be interesting.
Flip the two, right. The next story is from a homeowner named Chris Bank, who is from Missouri. During the pandemic, started to try to brighten everybody in his neighborhood's mood by planting sunflowers in his front yard. And now he's got a ton of sunflowers in the front yard, but unbeknownst to him, the city in which he lives in Missouri has a turf to flower ratio rule.
This is city, right? Not
This
HOA.
is city, not HOA. And the city is St. Peters, Missouri, and now he's required to pay them $400, and that will keep adding up the longer he keeps these sunflowers because he's violating. He's got too many flowers for the amount of turf he has. But everybody is saying, we love these sunflowers. We'll pay the fine. What are you doing to this guy? Can he fight City Hall in this case and win since everybody's on his side?
I think he's going to lose, but unless, on the letter of the law, he's going to lose, unless the city caves in to this public pressure and just backs off on it, voluntarily.
Yeah.
But, cities, municipalities, they have the right to regulate, lots of things, zoning and noise and other nuisances. And this is an environmental regulation. It's not just about flowers. It's about any kind of ground cover growth. It's about erosion and water, runoff and all that kind of stuff. And they're allowed to regulate that. A lot of people don't realize if you're, even sometimes in the county, you'll run afoul of this. If you're, depending on the county you live in, if you clear an area that has that's near a creek, you can get in trouble for that.
Really?
So, you just have to, you have to be careful. But this guy, I have to tell you, sunflowers just make people happy. I don't know what it is, but they do. This guy is so happy, even though he's losing all this money, he's being sued. I put his picture on my Instagram along with his flowers. Oh. And he is just like the happiest, most normal-looking dude, but happy as can be. And he doesn't care. And his neighbors are giving him money for his legal fund to buy more sunflower seeds. And So, I wish him luck. It's kind of a cool thing.
I wonder if the city is going to come out in the darkness of night and chop down all the sunflowers.
Yeah,
Man.
good.
Then you got a made-for-TV movie.
Just make mulch out of them. Just let it fly, just chop them all down.
It's an interesting thing that you kind of brought up there, Lisa, because I drove past a house we used to live in like 3 houses ago. Mm-hmm. And the house next to us, they were always a little different. Mm-hmm. And when I went past the neighbor's house, I think it might still be that same family that lives there.
Right.
And they had planted corn in the front yard.
Oh, geez.
Is that legal?
Really? Can you do that? Can you do that? I guess you probably corn in the front. Is that okay, Lisa?
Like stalks of corn.
I guess you probably.
It really depends. I mean, it really depends on the city you live in and what their regulations are, and if anybody reports you. I mean, that's the thing. Is a lot of times these things are fine until somebody complains.
Yeah.
And then then the city finds out. I mean, it really just depends. I mean, people are allowed to have gardens usually, and whether or not they're allowed in the front, it's, depends on the city.
That's true.
Well, now
we just moved.
That's how we do it too.
Smart.
We just put a sign up in the front yard. There's a guy here. It's a very similar story. His name is Pete Rodero. He lives in Florida, Bel Air Shore, Florida. And he goes to the beach a lot. This story actually happened in the summer. He's trying to get the city to help him. He goes out onto the beach, puts up a beach umbrella. Well, on one particular stretch where he goes all the time, there are no umbrellas, tents, or canopies allowed at the beach. And they used to have this rule, but they never really enforced it. Well, now they're enforcing it, and they're saying you have to take your umbrella down, and it's hard for him to get to another section of the beach where they allow umbrellas. Is a couple of miles down. He likes to go here, and he says the only reason they won't let you have even an umbrella there is because of 73 beachfront residents on Bel Air Shore, which they want a nice view of the ocean without the umbrellas. He says, it's the beach. I should have an umbrella. I should be allowed to have an umbrella because he had skin cancer issues years earlier, and now he wants his umbrella up. I can't blame him, but I bet he's got nowhere to turn, and he's the one that gets fined for putting up the umbrella. What are you thinking, Lisa?
Yeah, you're correct. He's going to have to pay the fine because these private beach clubs, private beach municipalities, they're allowed to regulate the beach all the way down to the wet sand line. So they can do whatever they want. They say that, he's saying that the reason is that they want the view. What the group that controls this beach is saying is that it has to do with all these people leaving their umbrellas. And a lot of beaches are going to that kind of policy. Usually it's not umbrellas, but it's those tents, the canopy pop-ups and things like that.
Right.
Because the family will come stay for a week, then walk off and leave it. And,
Yeah.
And then the beach, officials have to try to figure out how to get it out of there, and it's just a real pain. I've seen pictures of them at the end of the season in North Carolina with them just piled up, where people left them. And rusted, and they won't close, and
Yeah.
So they have, and some of them say it has to do with sea turtles too. So you don't want to. If you do anything that kind of impedes the beach, then the sea turtles won't come back, they say.
Well, the turtle always wins. The turtles,
you can't trump a turtle.
You cannot go past the turtle. I agree with the tents and stuff. I get it, but an umbrella. I mean, it's just an umbrella.
They can take it off, but they can do it. They can regulate their beach. They can tell you members only. If it's a private beach club, you can't walk there. You can walk down on the wet sand, but you can't
think
walk
I paid all this money to have you blocking my view?
Right. Now, listen, we have a friend, the Diesel, and he came out one time, and he had a chair that had a little covering over it. Isn't that what he had? What was it called?
No, you're talking about the cool cabana or the chair?
The cool cabana.
Yeah.
The cool cabana was a tiny little tent that just had sand in the
yes,
in the bottom of it.
It used sand to weight down the four corners, but it was a tent. It was a mini tent.
Well, the officials came along and said, "You got a tent," and he goes, "No, I don't. This is a cool cabana." And we're like, "No, this is a tent."
Apparently, that beach had you could only have one post in the ground.
That's right.
And he had 4.
Well, Diesel, to his credit, said, I don't have anything in the ground. This is being held in by sand on top of the ground. And the cop said, unless you want to spend time in the Myrtle Beach pokey, you are not.
So he had to curl up the 4 corners of his cool cabana.
That's not cool. Not cool anymore.
It was no longer a cabana.
The legs were flowing in the breeze.
Now it's a nerd cabana.
As he walked off. He's very upset by that. He had it delivered specially.
But he's not let it go.
To the beach. No. Every time you see sand, he goes, my cool cabana would be so great here. He will not let it go.
I've heard a lot of sad things in my life. But that might be the saddest argument.
Yeah.
cop versus cool cabana guy. And really, who's sadder in that? The cop for doing it, or
I know.
The cop had to put the paperwork in.
The cop said,
But he's getting paid to do it.
Look, he pulled out his badge and said, look, this badge, I'm talking to me. You're losing. You're cool cabana.
That cool cabana is never going to get used to its full potential.
You can't smell ocean air without the diesel saying, that cool cabana.
You know what would go perfect right here?
Cool cabana. Cool cabana, of course, obviously. That's Lisa Lanier. That's our official attorney. The segment is Lawyer Up. Every week we'll talk to her again next week at this time, if not before. Lisa, great to hear from you as always. Thank you.
You too. Have a great weekend.
You too. There she goes.